Alright gang, welcome back to our vanilla survival with a twist here on, well, what is now our third iteration of trying to continue this series. Well, I guess the second iteration of trying to continue the series. Third overall map, though. Most people have taken kindly to it, so hopefully that continues. Like I said, not really what I anticipated to do or planned to do, but this is where we're at, so... really do enjoy this map, though, and we've got a lot to do today. So it's still August, obviously. I mentioned in the last episode, this series specifically, there's not a limitation like I normally would put on myself, where I have to do one episode per month. We are allowed to kind of carry along pretty much however we feel, or as we see fit, I should say. And we're picking up the rye right now, or really harvesting the rye right now. Now, I'm going to be putting this on a worker for most of the actual harvest today. We're not really going to be focusing on doing this one today. We did a lot of harvesting in the last episode, so I'm going to have the worker do most of this for us, if not all of it. A couple things we're going to do. One, we're going to get this put in a position to where it's easy for us to be able to unload the harvester when it gets full. It will be full before it finishes that field. So we're going to put this in a decent position. Two, we've got to figure out something to do and how to pick up this straw, right? So I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. Also, I really don't know what's going on with the chicken area over there. We kind of saw that in the last episode. I tried to unload from this trailer. Didn't work. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to have to figure something out there as well today. But we'll sort it out. I don't know what's wrong with it, but we'll sort it out one way or another. Either way, we've got to figure out a way to get the straw up first and foremost. So, right now we've got $29,000. That's not a ton of money. And as a matter of fact, I don't think it's even enough for us to be able to buy a forage wagon. It is not. So the options now become, do we go the baler approach, or do we sell some of the crop that we have, which we kind of talked about in the last episode, that the odds are we're going to probably need to sell some of that to try to compensate and be able to, afford that forage wagon, right? Or that loading wagon, whatever you want to call it. I do think that's probably the best approach for us. Because... we've got this tractor, but if we want to go with the baler approach, let's just talk through this for a minute. If we want to go the baler approach, actually, as a matter of fact, we cannot go the baler approach. I thought there was a cheaper baler out here than 51,000, but evidently there's not. Well, there's this one. Okay, let me take it back. There is this one, which you can pick those up by hand, but we don't really have an easy way to transport those, right? So... I think, giving that understanding, we're going to do a bit of a shift once again here, and we're going to jump back in the semi here, and we're going to go sell some of this product and try to make a little bit of money. Now, we've got barley and we have wheat. I'm pretty sure barley is the highest the highest profit we could get. Having said that, they're not really worth a whole lot at all. $2.75 or $2.55. Okay, so I was wrong. It's the wheat. Interesting. Okay. Either way, we're going to have to find somewhere to sell it, and it's not going to be a good price, right? We're going to get a very bad price for it, but we need a way to get some of this straw up off the ground. That's some extra money we can make as well, right? We've got to figure out ways that we're going to be able to even drill these fields, plow these fields. We don't have any of that, right? And that's why I said some of these buildings that we have here, we might have to consider getting rid of a few of them in the interim, just because we really don't have any money, right? We don't have any money. That's also another reason why I was talking about potentially the trees here, but, oh well, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Now, I don't know how much we're going to need. I'm going to kind of take that much out. I'm going to try to back this up again with the reload of this save file. I'm going to see if maybe there was just some kind of an issue here with the chicken coop, because I really want to get these a couple chickens going. Like I said, we don't have a ton of money, but if we can spend, $100 here or whatever on a couple chickens to get them going. Yeah, for some reason it is just not accepting the fact that there's an unload ability there. Maybe we just get rid of the chicken coop for the time being and put down another one later on. I mean, it's our land. We can do whatever we want with it, right? There's not like a rule. I don't have any specific rule in this series saying that I can't remove anything that's here. This is just what we happen to start with. Yeah, it's not accepting anything there. Very weird, huh? How much is it going to give us if we get rid of it? Since it's not working right now, we're not going to have enough money to be able to do anything with it for a while. 2,200. I'm going to get rid of it. We're going to get rid of it. Slight change of plans right in the middle there, but we're going to get rid of it. That's going to allow us to be able to buy this one. It's not a very big, you know, capacity here, so we're going to have to make a lot of trips, but it is what it is. You know I have to have my wide tires on it, even though it's more money that we probably shouldn't be spending. I'll take them off. I'll take them off. I'll take them off. It doesn't leave us a whole lot of money. It actually leaves us 666. Couldn't have planned that any worse, could I? All right, we're gonna dump this back in here then. Just wasted a bit of time here at the beginning. Whoops, that's all right. We're getting in the groove here now. The worker obviously is not gonna be able to do a whole bunch with $666. You know, we've got to pay them, right? So we're gonna have to get up to the shop pretty quickly here and attempt to get some of this straw filled up and go sell it immediately, right? I would much rather just sell the straw at a loss because that's just extra money anyway, versus selling the actual crop, which could, in essence, give us a lot more money in the long run, right? Anyway, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good. Hopefully you had a nice weekend. This should be coming out, I believe, on Monday. I believe it's Monday or Tuesday, one of the two. But either way, hopefully you had a nice weekend. Hopefully I was able to get some videos done. I should now, at this point, at the time of this recording, I'm recording this Wednesday night, I should have responded to everyone's comment now. I should be caught up finally. So, again, I apologize for the late response to some of those. I truly mean it when I do say it, and you know, I do read every single comment, and I do reply to every single comment, at least the initial comment. Like I said, YouTube 9 times out of 10 will not notify me that you've made a response to my comment after I replied to you, but I like that the shop is actually not terribly far away from our land either, right? I mean, it's a drive, but it's not outrageous. It's just right up the street, really. So I like that as well. Anyway, this map, great map, man. I really enjoying it. Everyone else seems to be enjoying it as well. It's very vibrant. The colors are bright and vibrant. I like that. I like the road, the tarmac here, the pavement. It's like a darker asphalt color. I like that darker asphalt color. You know, American roads aren't really this dark. Like, the actual pavement color is not this dark normally. Except for when it was first obviously freshly paved. It is for about a month, and then it goes like a very, very light gray almost is what I would say. Anyway. We're underway here. And like I said, this thing is going to fill up very, very quickly here. So I don't know where we're going to sell this at. We're going to be obviously going and selling this immediately, and that's going to help try to offset the price that we're paying the worker here to harvest that field. And realistically, maybe we shouldn't even been paying the worker to harvest it, but we're doing it anyway, so. Now, people are asking, and I think I might have mentioned it, but I don't remember, but, you know, what's the end goal here? Well, the end goal really is try to build a successful farm that works with all the equipment we require, and we're only utilizing the vanilla game base items, plus, obviously, the bit of the twist there, which is just anything from the DLC, not a mod, any DLC that's been included from Giants, and only the mods that have been included with this map. That's it. Nothing else. That's really the end goal. There's not like a set, like I have to get to a certain amount of money. It's just whenever we feel like we've been very successful. You could argue on Maypole Farms at the time that you know, that series had to abruptly kind of move to this map, that we were kind of successful there, and you would be correct. But I really wanted to have that series go for at least another 15-ish episodes, 20, maybe 10 to 15 or 20 episodes, something along those lines. That's really what I was hoping for on Maypole Farms. I think we got to episode technically 15 before everything went kaput. There was 16 episodes because I had to do the one where I was kind of showing to you that it wouldn't load without crashing. But you know, it didn't get to the level I wanted it to be at, so we're kind of slightly starting over. Obviously, we have a few things here which we wouldn't have had at the beginning of Maypole Farms, but, you know, that's kind of the goal, right? So, like I said, maybe if we can get 15, 20, 25 episodes on this series, I think I'd be pretty happy at that point, and then we'll move on. Speaking of that, not to talk a whole lot of detail about anything that's coming up next, but I've been working on members of the channel. They get one extra video a month. It's a members series that I do, and then normally in that members series what happens is we kind of go through different ideas that I have in my brain, or ideas that I've put on paper, and try to put those, you know, into the game itself and see if it actually is going to work or not. The one we're currently going through right now, I'm actually very, very happy with it. I do believe it will be a replacement, whether it's for this series or for the Kinleg Aqua Farm series, whichever. I do think it will be a replacement for one of the two. Everyone that's a member that has watched that and has made a comment has also seemed to really enjoy that series and the style and the approach that we're trying to take there. So I do think that will be a replacement. I'm pretty excited about that. So that'll be coming, I would say, within 2 to 3 months, I would think, if not sooner. Probably 2 months. I don't know. I guess it depends on how long it takes us to get, you know, some of these other ones complete, right? Okay, so we've got a full load here of straw, so we need to figure out where we're taking the straw at. Now, like you said, we're expecting the absolute worst price, and we're getting the worst price. It looks to me like this is the closest one. The fast food diner sell point is the closest distance and the best price. So we will go there. We'll get to do a little bit more exploring on this actual map as well. As I mentioned, I kind of loaded up the map. I did a little bit of testing on it, saved it a couple times, let it auto-save everything, and it seemed to work perfectly fine for us. So other than that, I haven't spent a whole lot of time, you know, going through the entirety of the map. To be fair, I did do, you know, a flyby, and I drove around a decent amount of the area, but I haven't gone to everything. I really haven't. So, you know, there's going to be some stuff that we're going to explore together that we have not seen, or that I have not seen, rather, as we move along. It looks like this one is really close to the shop and the gas station, so I'm not going to see a whole lot of new stuff on this one, but that's okay. A perfect sunny day here in August. Looks like there's some clouds coming in soon, but otherwise it's a perfect day. Yeah, that looks like a fast food restaurant, one of the new modern fast food restaurants, but it looks like one nonetheless. All right, so this, again, really all we're hoping for here is for this to help offset the price that we're paying for the worker right now, and it's accomplishing that. And more, obviously, because we had 666 once we purchased this, and we're almost at 1,000 now, so this is good. Extra money, always a good thing. Unfortunate about the chickens, but we'll put it down again. Maybe we move it to a different location in the yard or whatever, but we'll put it down again here in the future for sure. Now this series, I think I mentioned it in the last episode, but I'm going to mention it again just in case you stumbled across it or whatever. We are allowed to do contracts in the series. I'm not allowed to lease anything for our own farm. I have to buy everything for our own farm. I can buy and sell as much as I want. You obviously lose money when you do that, but I have to own something if we're utilizing it on our farm. But if I'm doing a contract, we are allowed to borrow for that contract specifically. So whatever that contract offers, we can do that. Or if there's, you know, multiple contracts, we can utilize that same one that we borrowed from one of the contracts for the others, right? But I can't do that on any of our own fields, if that makes sense. That's really the only big restriction, is that I'm not allowed to do that on our own land. A little too cheaty for me. I think it makes it a little bit too easy. We are playing on hard difficulty, so it is, you know, it's a struggle for sure as far as the amount of money we're going to make throughout the year. And I like the field because it has different crops. Now, I don't think we've really talked about that yet, so let's kind of go through that a bit here of all the different crops that are actually in here, which normally wouldn't be. I don't see them in the main... Oh, here we go. So we've got rye, spelt... I'm going to say that. Is it triticule? I don't know. I'm going to say that wrong. Those are the 3 new crops that are on this field, I think. I don't think they have anything else. There are other crops that some fields have, but I don't think anything else is new besides those 3. So we are currently doing rye, obviously, so that's nice, but rye is just another typical cereal type of crop, so it's not like it's outrageously crazy by any means, but it is a different crop, right? So it's something new. I'm not sure if there's some productions. I haven't looked into it. I'm sure there are. I'm not sure if there's some productions that we can take maybe this rye to at some point and turn it into something else. Like rye bread would be my first thing I would think of, right? But I don't know, right? I don't know for sure. Okay, put that back on the worker. I'm going to move this a little bit here because I do think the worker's going to have a hard time turning around. Alright, that should work. We're back into here. And we're back underway picking up the straw again. Lots and lots of straw here to pick up, so honestly, we'll probably get most of that money back that we lost on that chicken coop, if you will. Although, to be fair, it was included with the actual purchase of that land itself, so really, did we lose anything? Not really. Not in my opinion, not really. And hopefully in the next episode, maybe we'll have enough money that we can, consider putting that chicken coop back down and then take some of the wheat or whatever and put it in there. So we can get some chickens going, right? Because those eggs make a decent amount of money for us, right? Obviously, we're not going to make a ton right off the bat, especially if we're just going to be putting in a couple of them. But they'll reproduce as they move along, and eventually, it'll make us a lot of money, right? What else? What else can I talk about? What else do we have to talk about? Competitive one-tile challenge going really well. If you didn't watch Saturday's episode, a tiny spoiler, not a major spoiler, but a tiny spoiler, check it out if you haven't done so already. Put down a new production. Not going to tell you what that is, so I don't want to spoil that. And we made a hell of a lot of money, and a lot more money is to come. This Thursday's episode, we should have an insane amount of money because the flour should, in theory, be the best time to sell on this Thursday's episode. Technically, I think it would be December. That would be the best time to sell, but this Thursday's episode, where we're going to be selling it at, more than likely, I think it's going to surpass what the average best price is. And you can't guarantee that best price is going to be better. So we probably are going to be selling it. And if we do, we're going to have a lot of money. We made a lot of money in Sunday's episode already. So if you've watched it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, and maybe you just stumbled across this and you don't know what that is, well, Competitive One-Tile Challenge is a series that realistically came out of my brain. I came up with a Competitive One-Tile Challenge about a year ago. A little bit less than a year ago, I guess. But anyway, it was very successful. A lot of individuals took part in it. People that were and still are way more successful than I am in Farming Simulator. Way more followers, way more, all of that. They took part in it, so it kind of came pretty big for me and my channel. And we had a lot of fun with it. And after that, I decided, you know what, let's do a competitive version of that. So I'm doing a competitive version of the One-Tile Challenge with my friends Rusty Money Gaming and Crustu. And the reason why those two are the ones that I invited to that is because I have a secondary channel, not Farming Simulator related. I've been on that channel for much longer than this one. This one actually, last week was my 2-year anniversary, which is insane, of doing videos on this channel. Doesn't feel like 2 years, but it has been 2 years. Anyway, when I first started, I did Farming Simulator for a while. A friend of mine, he loves Farming Simulator, got me into Farming Simulator back in FS17. So I've been playing it since FS17, but I wasn't doing any recordings or anything like that. I just never really thought about doing one. Well, I stumbled across those two guys, Crustu and Rusty Money Gaming. So a little shameless plug for them, but I stumbled across them a little over 2 years ago. started watching some of their videos, and Crestu came up with a 200 horsepower challenge idea. And I took part in that, and that was very, successful for him. And that's the reason why, right? So I was watching both of those guys, and they were the reason why they got me into starting doing recordings. So I wanted to do a bit of a challenge with them, since they're the first people that really got me into doing this. I, of course, had watched, Daggerwin and Chainsaw. Of course, I've watched them in the past, but, they do some really cool stuff on their own, but they weren't really doing like the challenge type approach, and it just really drew me to the ability to start making videos here in Farming Simulator. So, I'm driving the wrong. I'm so used to driving on the left side of the road. I got to get on the right side of the road now. So anyway, that's where it all came from, and that's the reason why they're included in the first ever competitive one-tile challenge. It's been a very successful series so far. I do think we will probably do it again. It'll probably be kind of a once a year type of thing, I would think. We'll take a little bit of time off between whenever this one's done, which we're nowhere near being done. Let's just make sure that's clear. But between, this series and whenever we decide to end that series, we'll take, a month or two or something off, and then maybe we'll do another one with some other individuals. Who knows? Or maybe we come up with a different idea. Who knows? But I do like the competitive one-tile challenge. I like the one-tile challenge in general. So the odds are that series is going to have a constant home here on the channel at some point, with a little bit of a break between whenever one of the series specifically for that one-tile challenge ends or not, right? There are other things we can do with that series. There are other ways we can change that series and continue to modify it and get better on it. So we will continue it for sure. That series specifically was actually from Young Z. Young Z is the reason why that series exists. Young Z, and I think it's pretty prominent now in that community, and I'm not really that involved in that community anymore, which is unfortunate. But when I was growing up, when I was younger, I'm going to age myself here, the original Roller Coaster Tycoon, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, I was obsessed with. Absolutely obsessed with it. Well, back then, I created a challenge, and I can't take full credit for it because other people have done it, and I never put it on YouTube, and I'm not even sure that I'm the first one that made it. But when I was younger, I made this challenge for myself where I had to build a theme park on one small plot of land, and I said to myself, you know what? I think I can turn that into a challenge in Farming Simulator. I think I can find a map, and the first time we did it was on Calmlands, and then now we're doing it on Farmlands, where there's sections of land you buy that maybe just grass fields or whatever, and you have to be secluded to that. You've got to build a farm on that. That's all you have. You can't expand. You can't go any further than that. You got to figure out a way to be successful. And it has worked better than I could have ever expected. There are so many people who are really enjoying that series. They say it's their favorite. They're having a blast watching it. They're even partaking in it themselves. It's been extremely successful, man. Extremely successful. And it's by far my favorite series that I've come up with. I've come up with some pretty crazy series. A couple people have said that they enjoy that I try to push the limits, and I do. I'm trying to think outside the box at all times, right? I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. It's not okay. This is me talking. This is real life Z talking. I don't want to do the same thing over and over again on this game. I think I would get bored quickly if I did that. So I come up with crazy ideas, and not all of them are always home runs, right? Like the one-tile challenge. They're not all like that. But I come up with these crazy ideas and see if I can figure out a way to incorporate it into Farming Simulator and make that enjoyable, right? Personally, myself, the other series that we're actively running on a regular basis, not just once or twice a week, the Kinleg series, the Aqua Farm series, I love that series. I love that series. I know that's not for everyone, but I love that series. That is a series that I actually am 100% enjoying. And then there are other series where I think it's going to be a great idea. I get into it, I start working through it, and I'm just not really enjoying it, right? I'm not having as much fun with it as I thought I was going to do. And I always try to make sure if I'm doing a series that I'm having fun as well, because not only do I want you to enjoy watching it, but if I'm not having fun with whatever it is that I'm doing, the challenge, the playthrough, whatever it is, I think that's going to show, right? I think that's going to show across in you know, on, well, I say on camera, but in my voiceover, in my recordings or whatever. I think that's going to, you know, you're going to know that I'm not really enjoying it as much. I'm not as enthusiastic about it. I'm not as excited about, you know, whatever it is I'm doing. And I don't want that to be the case, right? So that's the reason why some things, they don't, you know, some episodes or some series, I guess I should say, are 20, 25 episodes long. And then other ones, we've got 60, 70, whatever it is, episodes, right? That's the reason for it. I've rambled a lot today. I don't know what's going on. I haven't had anything to drink. I promise you. I'm sober. Unless you consider caffeine. I've had some caffeine. I did work today. I've had some caffeine. That's it, though. Anyway, I've rambled for 25, I've rambled for 26 minutes. You guys let me ramble for 26 minutes. You normally don't let me ramble that long, gang. That is a long time to ramble. We've got a lot of straw to pick up here still, gang. It's going to take us a while. We're almost full. Again, we've got to go continue to make these trips. The worker's almost full as well. But they are also almost done with that harvest, which is great. Now, I'm going to try a different way, although I don't think this is faster. As a matter of fact, looking at the map now, I can tell you it is not faster. But we're going to go this way anyway. So I just got to go out here, hang left to the fork of the road, and then left again, and then left again. All right, we'll figure it out. Well, I figured I would attempt at least to see if the straw could go into that silo. I didn't think it was a multi-fruit, but I figured I might as well give it a shot while we were there, and clearly it doesn't. So we're just going to sell the straw outright. Unfortunately, not get the full amount we could potentially get, but, you know, that's fine. So we're getting around $525 every single time we come in and sell this. We still got a little bit more to pick up, but overall, most of it is done at this point. Things went well. We're at 3,172. We will likely get just shy of $4,000, I would think. We probably have another maybe 1.5 loads, full loads of the forage wagon here, the loading wagon. Something along those lines. Still have to get the rest of the actual rye unloaded from the harvester into the trailer. Haven't done that yet, but we will do that soon. Might really have to consider even more so than what I had already talked about with these trees, right? Initially I thought the land we purchased came with that middle island of trees. It didn't. I mentioned that in the last episode, but we might have to consider getting rid of a couple of the trees here in the yard area. I mean, eventually we probably are going to want to anyway, because they do take up some space, and eventually we might want to put a few more things down in the yard, right? But I guess we'll find out. Also, I could, of course, get rid of one of the open air type of shed things if we wanted to as well, which would provide a little bit of money back to us. But I had initially planned to keep them, but we do have that opportunity, the option, or the opportunity, I guess I should say, to remove those if we want to, just like we did with the chickens, right? There's no specific rules saying that I have to keep any of that stuff. I'm going to touch this little area up over here, actually, really quick, and then we'll come back and hit that outside row. And turn the beacons off now. I had turn signal, I had all kinds of stuff on. That was a mess. Looks like the harvester might slightly be in the way here, so we're going to have to move it. I might as well just go ahead and back it up and start unloading it into the trailer. There's no reason not to at this point, so we'll go ahead and do that once we get up here. Not a ton, actually, in here. But, you know, this is... We didn't actually spend any money to put all this in the ground, so whatever we make off of this is you know, how I like to call bonus money, if you will, where I'm actually, you know, taking the amount back for what we purchased here, right? Didn't really specifically talk about it in the first episode, you know, how much we started with, etc., but really, it turns out that it was probably less than what we should have started out with, honestly. But that's okay. That's all right. Ooh, I'm missing bits going at it from that angle. We might actually end up getting another full load off that field there. We'll have to see. I did find myself a bit... I mean, I probably shouldn't have gone that way because it's not technically my land, but I did find myself a bit of a shortcut over here, and eventually we are going to probably own all of this land, so that's going to be okay. But I found a bit of a shortcut. If I just kind of follow this tree line here, well, as long as I don't hit the big massive tree, if I follow this tree line here, and then right up between these two fields, and the only part I would say is a little sketchy would be right here, turning here. I'm just going right across their crop. But anyway, if I take this little bit here, and it'll take us right back to the top there of our field, which is a lot faster than the way we were going, which is all the way around. Eventually, like I said, we'll probably own all these fields, and then we can put our own track in, right? Obviously, having the understanding that we'll lose a little bit of the actual field. But from a time management standpoint, and you know me, I'm always about trying to be as efficient as I can when it comes to driving things far away. I think it would be a pretty good decision, pretty good addition to add something like that in. But we'll see, right? This is early on. We're not anywhere near that stage yet. We're not going to be anywhere near that stage for a while, I would suspect. But we'll find out, I suppose, right? Right, once we get this stuff done down here, I will move the harvester and the trailer out of the way so we can get the remainder of that done. We'll go drop all of that off into the silo, etc. and then we just have to go sell the remainder of this. Now, we don't have a ton of money. I mean, that much is clear, right? As far as re-drilling these fields, that's something I need to look at. I really don't know. So we can put canola in right now. Oh, I'm sorry. There's more stuff than what I showed you. And on here, when you look at it on here, there's a lot more. There just wasn't that much on the sell point for some reason. Maybe there's no sell points for these things. I don't know. But anyway, there's vetch rye, silage maize, which is kind of cool actually. I didn't even think about silage maize in the past. Mustard, humus active. I'm saying that wrong. I know that. Green rye, field grass. That might be it. Yep, that's it. But still, there's a few other things on this map, which is great, right? So we'll more than likely try to incorporate a couple more of those especially. We don't have a drill or anything of any sort right now, right? All we had were these fields, and when the time comes to actually re-drill stuff, which likely will be the next episode, and likely will be in September, so we've got to kind of look in September on what can be done. You know, but we'll figure it out at that point. Now, to be able to do all these things that we want to do, we really are going to have to do some contracts here. I could sell all the crops we have here, and we very well might do that, but we might as well wait until the next month. The price should go up next month in comparison to where it is now. Like we talked about, the price is as worse as it could possibly be right now. In September, as you can see, it should start to go up, but is it going to make a huge difference? Probably not, but we might get a couple extra $100 out of it. And right now, given the situation we're in, where we don't have a whole lot of equipment, we have no money basically. Those couple extra $100 will definitely go a long way, right? What I might end up doing here, and instead of actually just selling this outright, what I might end up doing is actually just storing this straw, just keeping it here in the forage wagon, the loading wagon, whatever. Just keep it in it, and then just hold on to it until it's the best time to sell it. As a matter of fact, that's probably what we are going to do. There's no reason to go sell it right now. I mean, I might have been able to save a little bit of what we just sold, but at least get one trailer load or one close to a full trailer load to the, the full amount of money we could get, right? Might as well. All right, let's put this back in its rightful location here in the shed. And close it back. Perfect. Gonna start this back up. So 17,000 liters of rye is pretty good. That's pretty good. Rye is best January as well. Rye's not worth anything. Holy cow, rye's not worth a damn. But yeah, I'm not seeing the mustard or anything up here, so maybe it's supposed to, I mean, guess potentially it's down here in the miscellaneous. I guess it has to be, right? Or maybe there's no sell point for it, right? Yeah, I don't even see a sell point for it, so we might have to put our own sell point down for some of that stuff, I guess. A little weird, right? A little weird that those are, an option for the map, but then there's no sell point. You would think the map would at least have one sell point if you're going to add those type of products, right? I guess if we decide to do that, we're going to have to put our own sell point down. That, or maybe I'm just missing it. I could 100% have missed it. I didn't see it, but I could have 100% missed that. Alright, so we'll let that continue to unload. Let's get the rest of this straw up. This is not going to be a full trailer load. It'll be close, but it'll probably be more like 70%, maybe 65%. Looks like I'm going to be... Well, I don't know. We might get 65. We'll get 65. We're not going to get 70, though. Well, I stand corrected again. We did hit 70. Holy smokes, I did not think we were going to get to 70. Sweet. 72%. Very happy with that. Alright, we can put this away, and gang, we'll leave the episode at that point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button. In case you've yet to do so, they are free to do. They help me out an absolute ton. If you want to become a member, there's a link down below. You get early access to videos like this one, including the competitive one-tile challenge that I talked about at depth at the beginning of this episode. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, ideas, let me know down below. I'm happy to get back to you on those. Like I said, sometimes things get in the way with work and in real life, but I do read every single comment, and I do reply to every single comment, I promise. So if you have any thoughts of any sort, make sure you let me know, and I'll be getting back to you at some point. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your continued support, and we'll see you next time.